focused on trying to get it on my own. And we ain't never joking, nothing funny. My darkest nights, shit is still sunny. My darkest nights, the shit is still sunny. And we ain't never joking, nothing funny.
What is up, my nearest and dearest fools of the internet? It's your boy Abu Vibes, producer for Kyle XM, back at it again with another video. Real quick, just by the way, I gotta thank you guys for 300 subscribers. It just keeps on going up. Super excited about that. So, as an appreciation video for 300 subscribers, we are discussing 6 tips that I have come up with over my past 7 years being a producer. I'm gonna be using an example beat that I just made recently, unreleased content. You guys are gonna be the first to see it. And I'm gonna share them to you for free, so feel free to hit that subscribe button. But let's get right into the video. So in my 7 years as a producer and almost 15 years as an instrumentalist, I've noticed 6 spots where I see a lot of producers messing up. Number 1 is going to be making an effective build-up that's going to give your music a drop that's going to really impress people. Number 2, a lot of more people could be referencing previous songs and past songs in their music that would make it feel more familiar to their audience. 3 is going to be not changing your drum lines, not ever changing the patterns on your drum lines, changing your hi-hats, changing your snares, so it's just a repeating pattern. Number 4 is going to be making soundscapes. You got to get your music so it's involved, so it keeps the listener wanting more. Number 5 is pretty simple. It's just using quantize. And number 6, the most important of all, catchy melodies. So we're going to go over all 6 of those with examples right now. Here we go. Creating an immersive soundscape. So you can do that by diversifying your sounds, making sure that the sounds are balanced, and referencing your main melody in your soundscape. So for example, I could have just released it sounding like this. Like, it sounds pretty good, but then there's just things that you can add to this. So that's what I did right here, is I added in these different sounds that they don't stand out too much, but they're in the background to really add to it. So you can hear how that adds just a little bit more depth to your music. It gives your listener more to latch onto, and it keeps them entertained for longer. But of course, with those sounds, they're supposed to be background sounds. They're not really supposed to be lead sounds. You don't want those to be at the forefront of your music, because then it won't add to the music. It'll take away, and not too much reverb, because you don't want to make it muddy. You want to make it sound better. I hope. Alright, this brings me to my next point, the drop. Problems I see with a lot of other producers is that their drop doesn't hit hard enough, it takes too long to happen, or it just comes out of nowhere. So you can change this by using bass sweeps, your snare pattern, or using some kind of sound effect. I'm gonna use a different song to show you how important these effects are. Have a listen to this drop before. And then after, we add a few effects. You can probably tell the difference. Alright guys, so moving right along, my next tip for you is switching up your drum lines. When I always go into making a track, I'm always thinking about 2 things. Keep them bouncing, but keep them guessing. Keep them bouncing means that you gotta have a beat that's already got people moving, that's gotten people excited, but keep them guessing. You can't be sticking on the same melodies and the same rhythms, especially in your drums, for too long, because it gets boring. Changing up some of your patterns, maybe on your snare or your hi-hat, maybe after every verse or after every hook, so it gives you something new to listen to. It retains attention so much longer than if you just have the same rhythm that goes all the way through. Don't just hold the auto repeat function down. Nobody wants to listen to this for your entire 3 or 4 minute song. This is a little bit more interesting to listen to, especially if you're changing up patterns. A basic step that I see people just really falling short on, like all the time. And I think maybe it's just because they don't know. This is definitely a tip for you new producers out there. Quantize. Just by having your notes off, like I'm talking like a 64th of a beat. will completely screw up your entire track. You can take something like this. If I just shift some of the lines a 64th of a beat, you end up with this. You're making yourself sound goofy. All you gotta do is hit quantize. Quantize is in Logic, Machine, FL Studio, Pro Tools, whatever you're using. The next step I have for making a beat that's gonna stick, that's gonna draw people in, making sure that you have a catchy melody in your song. The hottest songs and the hottest beats always have a melody that you can latch on to, like Chill Bill over here. Demonetized. Catchy doesn't have to mean complex, it doesn't have to mean long. So to make my songs catchy as possible, I figured this would be a good opportunity to go into Logic Pro X and use some of their string synths. So I came up with this little pattern right here. It's a simple melody, but it's easy to remember and it's easy on the ears, and it goes well with the beat. Short, sweet, and simple, but catchy, and that's the trick. Alright guys, the sixth and most important step. You gotta finish that beat. You have to follow through on your music. Don't turn your computer into a graveyard of beats that you never finished or that you were too shy. It's not an art unless you show somebody. Don't be afraid of what other people are gonna think of your music, because there's always gonna be haters out there. And don't be afraid to take advice from people that you trust, people who are going to be honest with you. Just take it from somebody you trust. Don't take advice from haters. You know who they are. Alright guys, so hopefully some of these tips helped you. I think if you follow them, that they're really going to enhance your music. Appreciate all you guys who stuck through to the very end of the video. Be sure to check out some of my other content, and as promised, here's a sneak peek on that track. It's Abu Vibes out. Peace.
My lights up, you ain't dimming those. Time ticking, it's getting close. Rhyme sickly with 50 flows, and I spit this shit till I hit the flow. Then pass it off like a give and go. Kiss the ground over the mistletoe. Bust a move like I'ma hit the wall. Then I'll punch a groove and never skip a no. Something's cool, this shit lit it up. You dudes flow so hideous. Might be burning when I pick it up, cause the flow I spit's insidious. Never quitting, cause I'ma make it big. When I'm new like Jordan.